And could you tell us your name?
My name is Tonie Cowgill. My maiden name was Tonie McGraw.
Great. And how old are you now?
53.
53.
Well, actually, wait. 53 in June. I'll be 53 in June. I'm holding out that one more month.
So, let's see here. And I asked the wrong question, actually. What year were you born?
1959.
Great. And did you grow up in Scioto County?
Yes, I did.
Where did you go to school?
Minford.
We asked you to come and talk to us about the Wheelersburg tornado. Go ahead, will you share some of your memories of that?
Okay. I was in the 4th grade. I would have been 9 years old. And school had just let out. So all the buses were full with children. And I remember we had just made our first stop. And the area where we stopped there in Minford to let the first child off, it was a flat area with nothing but farmlands and field. And all I remember, the first child had got off the bus, and the bus driver stood up, and immediately everything around the bus turned totally black and dark. It was like you were underwater. That was the feeling when you looked out through the windows. And I remember the bus driver just kept telling us, everyone to the left, everyone to the right, and we just kept going back and forth, back and forth. And of course, it only lasted a few minutes, but it seemed like an eternity, you know. And the kids some were screaming, some just yelling. Some children were even laughing, thinking it was fun, because we had on the bus at the time kindergartners through 6th grade children. So there was all kinds of emotions going on. And the bus driver, his name was Dallas Pertee, and he's no longer with us, but I thought he did, you know, looking back now as an adult, he did an amazing job of keeping everyone calm and knowing what to do. And I'm assuming he had us do that because the bus was shaking, and I guess we were trying to kind of go with the flow, so to speak, of the air and the wind and everything. But I just remember feeling like we were underwater. You could not see out the windows of the bus, and it was like just a dark gray. And I remember the sound. It was there was like a pressure feeling also in the bus, and a sound of, like they say, like a locomotive, like a train coming over. And once it stopped, like any storm, it was just beautiful skies. And I remember you could smell split wood and pine. And all the way home, I remember the first thing, I was more worried about my mother at the time, who was at home with my younger sister. And all the way home, I was probably one of the last kids off the bus, so I had about a half-hour ride. And you would see trees that were just like, it would be like if you took a pencil and went like this and just splintered. And you could see the path and how the tornado bounced and where it hit and landed. And I remember one of the boys on the bus, he would have been, if I was in 4th, he probably would have been in 5th or 6th grade. And I remember everybody's, talking about, what they're seeing and, about their houses and hope their houses are there and things like that. And he goes, Tonie lives up on top of that hill. I said, I bet it blew her house away. I remember I thought, yeah, that's what I'm sitting here worried about. But when we got home and I got off the bus, the house was still there. And my dad had a camper that he used. It's like a camper, cab. I don't know what they're called, but they sit on the back of a truck. And that had blown away and was totally flattened. And our neighbor, it took her whole roof, the entire roof off, and threw it down into a valley and just flattened it. But I distinctly remember the smells of, like I say, the pine and the wood that had been split, And like I say, you could just see the pattern of where it would bounce. But that's pretty much my memory of it.
So, and the rest of the ride home, the weather was just...
Like after a storm. I mean, the sky was beautiful, and the sun came out, and of course, everything's wet, and because of the rain. But yeah, it was the rest of the ride home. It was just a thing of everybody looking out the window, going, "Wow, look at that! Oh my goodness, look at that! Look at that tree!" That type of thing, and debris everywhere. And I remember, I just barely remember like the news reports of someone dying in Wheelersburg, and that Wheelersburg had been the hardest hit. And there had been several trailers that had been flattened or destroyed. And that's pretty much all I remember. Now, as a mother, myself and a grandmother, I look back and I think the fear that my mother must have had, knowing that I was on the school bus. And I'm sure all the mothers in the area, because school had just let out, and we were all on the buses. So I'm sure there's a lot of people with similar experiences. But yeah, it was a busload of kids, and it was amazing.
Did you, when you got home, did your mom ask about, if it bothered the bus? Did you tell her about what happened?
Oh yeah. And, she was just thankful that I was okay. And my brother, had gotten a ride home, so he was already home. And like I said, my younger sister was home that day. And I think she'd been sick or something, so she didn't go to school. But yeah, she was very concerned, and I told her everything, I told her what the little boy said about the house, our house being blown away, and I said I worried the whole time if our house was still here. And it was so nice coming up the hill and seeing the top of the house and knowing everything was intact. So.
Did you go to school the next day?
I can't remember. But I remember at school, it was the talk of the school for a while. Everybody had their stories of what happened, But no, I can't remember if we did the next day or not. I don't even, what day of the week did that actually hit on? I guess we, as librarians, we need to go back and look that up.
We should probably know that.
That's a reference question. But I don't know. Do you have any questions or anything? That's about all as far as my memory goes.
Did an excellent job, man.
Okay. Thank you.